Okay, hi guys. This is the second tutorial on how to code or how to program in C++. Today we're going to be going over how to use variables in a very simple way. I'm not going to be going too much in depth. You can use your imagination on how to use them, but I'm just going to be going over what they mean and how they're used. Okay, so first of all, variables are really the key to all programming. They can control user input, they can control output, and a whole bunch of other things. So let's get started by looking at how we define a variable. You define a variable by one of the following that I have here, which is a command called int, which means integer. So if you want to make this variable that we've defined as a an integer, you'd put int in front of it. Now if so integer will not deal with negative numbers or decimals, but what will deal with those are double. Double will deal with any real number. So if you wanted to make, let's say I've already typed out b. If we wanted to make our b any real number, we'd put double in front of it. Now notice I just have ABC. This can be anything you want it to be. It can be a whole string of letters. It can be a name. It can be anything. Variables are only determined by what you define them. And I just have double C again just to show you that they can be anything. And then one that's used a lot is called constant. Constant means this variable that you're about to define will never be changed throughout the whole entire program. And so I'm using this example of pi because a lot of people don't want to write out pi 3.14159 1,000 times in their program if that's what they're going to be doing. Let's say they're calculating areas of circles. They don't want to have to put pi a whole bunch of times. So since pi is not an integer, it has decimals, we have to define it as a double. And I'm using the word pi to define it. You can use a, b, c, whatever. It doesn't matter what you define it as. It just makes sense to me that if we're defining pi, we should call it pi. And then we use an equal sign to define it, and then enter our value, what we want it to be. Notice that this is a good example of the main property of variables, which is you'd use them by defining your variable, what you're changing it to. Don't mix that up. It's not what you're changing it to, your variable. It's your variable, which is in this case pi, and then equals what you're changing it to. So if for example, if I wanted to say, let's say a equals 1. So now we are making our variable a equal 1. So then let's make b equal 2. Okay, so in this case, our variable b is now equal to 2. So what happens when I say a now equals b? What does that mean? Well, we've defined a as 1. But we've defined b as 2, and the pattern is your variable, what you're changing it to. So we're taking our variable, and what we're changing it to happens to be up here, which is 2. So now a equals 2. That hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's your variable, what you're changing it to. Okay, so let's just make a really simple program using some user input. I'm only going to use one just to show you guys so you guys can get the hang of it. So let's utilize our output commands, enter a number, and then semicolon. And so we've used our cout commands, output something. So how do you input something? It's basically pretty self-explanatory. Cin, input. And then notice, this is very important, that our greater than signs are facing towards the command as if to input, and our cout is facing towards the code. So that's just very important. Make sure you have that. And so let's see in our variable a. So what have we done? We have taken what the user has inputted and made it a. So now a equals whatever this person inputted. So then let's cout your number is, and then we're going to cout again. We're going to cout a, just because that's what they've made their number. and then let's end the line. Okay, so this is very simple. We're just taking it in the number and then we're outputting it back out here. We haven't made any changes to the variable. So let's set this up and let's run this and see what happens. So I'm going to make sure I have all my, yeah, I do. Okay, so compile and run. It's compiling and running it. And so right here we have our program. So we're going to say enter a number. Since we've defined it as integer, let's make it easy and just put 10. Okay, your number is 10 right there. It's outputted what we've told it to output. It's paused the program like we've told it to pause. Everything is working correctly. Okay, now let's change this up a little bit by changing the variable. So your number, let's say plus 5 is, and then let's see out a plus 5. Now you could do this in a different way. You could say a now equals a plus 5. You could say it that way, and then just output a because we've changed it to this. But I'm just using a little less code by saying output a plus 5. I'm not redefining a. I'm just adding 5 to it in what I'm outputting. Okay, so let's compile and run that. And now it asks us to enter a number. Let's say 10. Your number plus 5 is 15. Good, it can do math. Okay, so that's pretty basic. You can use your variables in any way you want. There's other ways you can use them. You want to change them. You want to make certain variables certain values. So just use what I've taught you and continue to learn. I'm just going over very basic stuff. I'm going to get more in depth when I talk about other commands, but this is just very basic. I'm really trying to explain variables as best as I can. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. I probably will post the source code in the description like I normally do. And so that's pretty much it for the tutorial on variables. See you guys next time.